This tutorial is for 2nd grade, Module 6, Lesson 13. In this lesson, we're going to work with both arrays and number bonds. The directions say to construct a rectangle with 4 columns of 3. And this is what that array would look like. I have 4 columns, and there are 3 squares in each column. The next direction says to take that array and separate it into 2 columns of 3. And this is what that would look like. I've basically taken my array and I've split it down the center. So now I have 2 matching arrays, and each array is 2 columns and 3 squares in each column. Now we're going to show this whole picture as a number bond. Remember, with a number bond we have the total number of squares at the top. So I have 12 squares in all. In my first half I have 6 squares, and in the second half I have 6 squares as well. To show the repeated addition problem for the first array, I could show it as 2 plus 2 plus 2, which equals 6. That shows me there's 2 squares in each row. For the second half, I could show the same thing. I could show 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. I could also show the number of squares in each column. I could write it as 3 plus 3 equals 6, and the 3 would represent the 3 squares in each column. Either way is correct. So our original array that was 4 columns of 3 could be divided into 2 matching arrays, each one having 2 columns of 3. Let's look at another example. This one says to construct a rectangle with 5 rows of 2. And I've already done that off to the side. We have 5 rows and there are 2 squares in each row. Now we are to separate one row of 2. And here's what that would look like. I have one row of 2 separated from the original array. To show this as a number bond, we'll start with our 10 tiles in all when we made our 5 rows of 2. Now I only have 2 tiles in one section, and that leaves 8 tiles in the other section. For my repeated addition equation to match this, let me start with the 8 tiles first. This would be 4 rows of 2, so I have 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, and that equals 8. For the next section, I'm going to write 1 plus 1 equals 2, and that tells me I have 1 square in each column, and I have 2 columns. So the 2 is represented by 1 plus 1, the 8 is 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. The last section tells me to use the square tiles to construct a rectangle with 12 squares with 3 rows. And I've done that below. I have 12 squares in all, and there are 3 rows of 4 that make up the array. I have 3 rows of 4, and that equals 12. Now I'm going to remove one row from my array. So I've removed that row, and it asks how many squares there are now. Well, now I have 2 rows of 4, so I have 8 squares. Now I need to remove one column from this rectangle, so I'm going to take this last column off of this array. Once I remove that column, I'm now left with 2 rows of 3, or a total of 6 squares that make up my new array.